Hey everybody, we're on day 3 of single moms raising food allergic kids, and I'm doing a lot better than the last taping that we did. That was actually a few days ago, so I really hadn't been able to kind of get myself together because a lot's been going on since that time. I was able to get the appointment situated and settled up with the allergist. Between going back and forth to the doctor, sitting in traffic because the doctor's office is far away, and getting my daughter back to school, that was about 4.5 hours. So 4.5 hours out of my day where I needed to be working so that I could provide for my children. However, keeping her health as a priority is it's necessary. So the allergist was great. His staff was great. They took all the documentation that we had already. He respected my knowledge base, but he also respected the historical documentation that I had given him for her files. I'm pretty thorough about that sort of thing, and that's something that everybody really needs to do, is to keep really good records when it comes to this sort of thing. And he filled out the form that they needed on their form, which basically referred them to the other forms that we already had. And I had a conversation with him about the other pediatrician, which he felt was unfortunate. However, I feel that we're in good hands now for her care to be managed with regards to food allergy, anaphylaxis, and asthma. So those forms now have been turned into the school, and I'm hoping that we won't have any concerns with that. Something else that did happen prior to today, I got a phone call a couple days ago that I needed to pick her up from school because she was having trouble breathing, which of course scared me, and it happened to be an asthma related situation, not the anaphylaxis. But once I got there, unbeknownst to me, and this is a very easy mistake that any of us could make, yet once again we just can't make mistakes. The inhaler that she had been prescribed was not in compliance with standard prescribing guidelines. It said for her to take 1 puff if she had trouble. 1 puff is just never going to be enough. And unfortunately, she was having difficulties. The nurse did get permission to give her an additional puff. However, she was still having trouble. So I had to pick her up. And pretty much all I had to do was give her the 4 puffs that was required in a flare plan. But I realized that the office had not given the nurse the emergency action plans that I had given them when I registered her at this school. They were somewhere in the office, but they hadn't made their way to her yet. And under other circumstances, that could happen because it was still new and they'd make their way. But in this circumstance, this is a life-threatening situation, so that's not something that should be happening. What I did was, I always carry copies of the papers with me, and I grabbed the copies that I had and physically stood there and watched the nurse make copies of the papers so she could have them for her files. And what I found to be really interesting too was that there was a document that they wanted me to sign as a waiver of liability in case they had a mishap. And it was for a hypodermic needle injection. But the EpiPen is not hypodermic needle, it's intramuscular. So that was a really bizarre situation. I'm not signing that. So anyway, we got through that, and I don't want to in any way, shape, or form make it seem like I'm bashing the nurse at her school. The nurse is wonderful. I just think she's amazing, but she's doing what she has to do within the guidelines that are set forth for her with her physician. With her in her position rather. So documents were given, and right now possibly we look like we might be in a good place, and I'm waiting for the finalized 504 accommodation to come down so that we can kind of have it signed, sealed, and delivered, and hopefully be able to get on track so day to day can be okay. In the meantime, I'm providing the safe snack box, which is comprised of some safe cookies and crackers, non-perishable items that she can have in the event that there are snacks given out in the classroom and there are ones that aren't safe for her. One thing that we have agreed on and I've already had to be concerned with is birthday parties. I've asked for 24-hour notice for birthday parties so that I can send a special cupcake that's safe for my child, that's free of the allergens that she has. And we've so far had to do that already. So the paperwork's been turned in, safe snacks have been sent into school, and I'm on my way to, I can't say the name of the store because it might be an endorsement, but there's a whole lot of food at the store that I'm going to be going to. And this store is a little bit pricey, but it's a one-stop shop for me, and I can get the things that are made in factories where they're not contaminated by the things she's allergic to. I can buy things that I don't have to worry about the may contains this or may contains that label. As one manufacturer said to me when I visited their facility, they don't use that label because they make sure that they clean their equipment well enough that they don't have to. Other companies may not be able to do so. They might not be in a position financially to be able to ensure completely, having microbiologists in place and that sort of thing. Or they just may have some practices that we're not exactly happy with. So today again is day 3, and overall, even with everything, it was a pretty good day. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.